I'm now going to pass you over to our guest, which is Dale, who is going to talk to you about degree apprenticeships.
Great, thanks a lot. Guys, thanks for being here today. And I just wonder if we could just start the session. I just want to get a sense of the room, really. So I just wonder if you could. I'm not going to ask you any questions individually, by the way. So don't worry, put your hand up and pick you up. I just wondered if you could just raise your hand if you think the most likely option, a year's time, you're just doing your A-levels. I saw some people going through A-level exams this week. Who thinks that after their A-levels, the most likely route is that they're going to be going to university? Just raise your hands if you think that's the most likely route. Pretty much everybody. Who in the room here thinks the most likely route that I'm going to be doing is going to work? Whether that's going to do an apprenticeship or going to just get a full-time job. How many have we got? I saw a tiny hand go there. I'm one at the back. Right, okay. So we've got two people who are going to get a job. Okay. Next question. How many people, just raise your hand for me in this room again, if you know somebody that's gone to university? Just raise your hand. Does everybody know somebody that's gone to university? I think probably most people do. Okay, who knows somebody that's doing a degree apprenticeship? Just raise your hands if you know somebody that's doing a degree apprenticeship. Nice and high. Now, can we just all look around the room, guys? How many people we've got? 3 hands. So 4 palms. We've got a few hands. Most people know somebody that's going to university. Half a dozen maximum know people that's doing a degree apprenticeship. So, if we want to find out anything about going to university, we don't want to ask our parents and we don't want to ask our teachers, then we've all got a ton of people in this room that can say anecdotally or casually, you can just say, what's it like? You went to Nottingham, you went to Birmingham, what's it like now? What was the accommodation like? I'm thinking about going to Birmingham University. Should I get a Vale accommodation or should I get something in Salio? How's that going to work? You can ask people. How we get 6 people in this room know somebody that's doing a degree apprenticeship, and I don't know how well they know them, so they might just, somebody I've heard of is doing it. It's much more difficult for you to get that information. So, this presentation here is not to try and persuade you to do a degree apprenticeship. I don't work for any of the major employers. I'm going to share some information with you. But this presentation is about you leaving in 45 minutes' time, knowing they exist, knowing where you can get one, and being able to think, well, I wonder if that will work for me. Because for me, making decisions is all about have you got all of the information? If you've only been given a tiny bit of information, you're missing out on a bunch of stuff. Sometimes when I go into a school, like we were talking about student finance today, I just want you to imagine that these ladies down the front here, it's the first day of university. Here we all are, and you're waiting for your first lecture, and these ladies down the front here, and one of them says, turns to the other and says, is your student loan coming through yet or not? Because sometimes it just doesn't come through on the day. Is your student loan through yet or not? And the lady turns next to her and says, I don't have a student loan. And she says, why not? Are your parents paying for university? Oh no, my employer has paid for me to come to university. And so I don't have a student loan. And they pay me £25,000 a year to be at university as well. Be like, well, how come I didn't know that was a thing? How come I didn't know that I could go to university, have all my fees paid, and get a 25 grand salary? Where did I miss out on that? That's what this presentation is about, how we're going to do that. So I work for a non-profit organisation called My Great First Job. My background is that when I was 23, I live in Northampton, and when I was 23, I set up a really small business. It's the late 80s. I set up a really small business to help young people get their first job. It was me, a desk and a phone, and I sold that business 7 years ago, having helped over 6,000 young people start their careers in Northamptonshire, Buckinghamshire, Bedfordshire, and now I spend most of my time in schools, in colleges, on webinars, helping young people get to where they want to get to. So we run a bunch of webinars from My Great First Job. So if you get something from this session and think, I might want to revisit any of that content, then all of our webinars are recorded. Last month's webinar was how to write a great first CV. So if you've got to write a CV for a work experience application, for an internship, for anything at all, they're all recorded. You can access them through our Instagram and TikTok pages. Just go to the link in the bio, click in there, drop down on the link tree. Everything is there. You don't even have to tell anybody that you've watched it. You can just see the information in there. Let's just start by talking about apprenticeships first of all. if you'd have left school at the end of year 11 and had got a local, let's say you live in Toaster or in Buckingham and you went to work for a small local company, you probably would have done an intermediate apprenticeship. Never called an intermediate apprenticeship really, normally just called an apprenticeship. It's on the left hand side there is a level 2. 5 GCSEs at grade 4 is a level 2. You might have gone in and started a level 2 apprenticeship, and that's what a whole ton of people do when they leave school at the end of year 11. Now if you leave at the end of year 13 and you get an apprenticeship with a relatively small company, again, it doesn't matter where it is, but a relatively local company, then you're likely to do, most opportunities are going to be advanced apprenticeships. That's a level 3. So it means you're achieving at level 3 right now. A levels at level 3 qualifications. But it means you'll stay in that band in a small term local business and you'll work at a level 3, putting some of the skills into using some of the skills and staying and developing more. I want to make sure you know about the next ones, because you can leave school at the end of your A levels and go and do a higher apprenticeship. Higher apprenticeship is level 4, you're doing level 3 at the moment. Level 4, so the next step up, loads of opportunities in level 4 in IT, software development, and loads in finance and accountancy, and loads in engineering as well. That's the next level up from where you are now. You're going to work for could be a big company, could be a medium company, you're going to go to a private training provider or a college, an FE college, to do your qualification. The one I really want to spend my time talking about today is the degree apprenticeship route. So that's the next level, level 6. But just notice on the end there, there's a master's apprenticeship as well. Because you might decide at the end of this presentation, right, I'm glad I know they exist, they're not for me. But what I am going to do is going to go to university, and I really hope I get to do a master's afterwards. But I've got to fund that myself. And there are a whole ton of master's apprenticeships as well. So whatever we talk about for degree apprenticeships today, know that master's apprenticeships exist. You don't need to think too much about them, just know that they exist, and it may be something you want to refer back to. So let's talk about the key components of a degree apprenticeship. So I don't know whereabouts you are in your journey of choosing universities and stuff. I just want to check first of all, are we all familiar with the term Russell Group universities? Not yet, people are not familiar with that, okay. So, first of all, the first part of the degree apprenticeship, and I hope it's not too obvious, is you're going to do a degree. And listen guys, it's not pretending degree, a look-alike degree, a degree you've got to explain to anybody, a degree that's Miss said it was equivalent to, and if I put this in as well, it matches, it's a degree. And all of the Russell Group universities, offer degree apprenticeships. The universities that don't offer degree apprenticeships, the only ones I can pass at Oxford and Cambridge, don't offer degree apprenticeships. But all of the Russell Group universities do. So you're going to do a degree, and the times that it's not a degree, it's one time that it's not. Is if you go into the career of accountancy and finance, then some of the really big accountancy companies will say, hey, we're not going to do the degree route, we're going to do the professional qualification route, and that's a level 6 qualification. But you can see that on their application form, so you can make that decision as to what you're going to do. So first of all, you're going to do a degree. The second thing is, you're not going to have any student loan whatsoever. You're not going to apply for a student loan if you're just doing a degree apprenticeship. You won't apply for it because you won't need it, because the employer will be paying all of your degrees costs, every single penny. So you will not apply for a student loan, or if you, I'll come to how you can apply for both and do university and degree apprenticeship in a bit, but fundamentally you will not have anything to repay because the employer will pay all of it. I just wonder if we come just down here just for a moment, because gentlemen right just here, how much is it to go to university? £9,000. Okay, so £9,000. 9,250 is the maximum that can be charged. £9,250. Let's say it's a 3-year degree, so we've got £27,000 there. You don't have to repay that because the employer has paid it. They don't give it to you, and they just pay it straight to the university. Now you might do a little bit of additional training because let's say you're a degree apprenticeship with BMW, and BMW might say, well, we've got 150 degree apprentices, we want them to feel a bit more BMW'd up, so every month we do a Zoom, a Teams call, where we get everybody together, we tell them what's going on in the world of BMW, and we might give them a task to do. Hey, listen guys, it's not a stretch. It really isn't. It's just a little bit, occasionally, of doing some branding for that business. And here's the other and you're going to get paid while you're doing your degree. And you're going to get paid not sort of like 10, 11, 12,000. So far in the last 5 weeks, I've helped 6 people get a degree apprenticeship from Northamptonshire on a project that I'm doing. And the minimum salary that any of them are on straight from sixth form at university is £23,000. So they're going to university, having all their fees paid for, and getting a salary of £23,000 minimum, what it was on 26,500. So that's it. So that is a degree apprenticeship. And I think if you were to go home to your parents and say to them, this guy came in and spoke about apprenticeships, and he said, you know, I can go to university, I can get my degree, I can still go to a great university, and I'll have nothing to pay, and I'm going to get 23 grand a year. Your parents are probably going to think, I'm not sure. I'm not sure you've heard all of that, right? But listen, guys, it's not too good to be true. That's what other people are doing and getting in the way they're starting their career. When I was thinking about the presentation today, I'm thinking about it, I was thinking, how are apprenticeships, how are we thinking about that? And I know, and I asked that question, who's thinking about going to university, and everybody's hand goes up. And really what I needed to say at that point was, I know you might switch off now and think, oh yeah, I'm going to be polite, but I'm staring because I'm going to university. But there will be somebody in this room, there absolutely will be somebody in this room who is about to not only save £50,000, but earn £75,000 while you're at university paying for everything. They're going to save 50 and earn 75. I want to talk to you about different options, because if you go home to parents and say, oh, I'm thinking about doing a degree apprenticeship, they might think, apprenticeship, is that a day release? And that's this model here. So you go, if you're ready for work, and I heard, gentlemen, before talking about some of you might know your career route already, you might want to jump into that a bit more. So this is how this one works. You go to work for 4 days a week, you go to university for 1 day a week. Monday to Friday you're at work, university on Friday. Monday to Thursday you're at work, university on Friday. Or it could be that you are at work for a month and then university for a week. But fundamentally, mostly work, university for a bit of the time. The other model is the exact opposite. You go to university just as normal. Everybody who put their hand and said, yeah, I'm going to go to university, you go just as normal. But when everybody else goes home in the summer for 16 weeks, you don't. When everybody else goes home in the summer, you go and work for that company for 10 weeks. 10 weeks at the end of year 1, 10 weeks at the end of year 2, year 3 you're at work full time, and at the end of it you're back at university for year 4. So those are the two. Now up until last year, those were the two sort of models. But I'm going to show you some people that are on degree apprenticeships at the moment, and now there's a whole range of different attendance models that are there. So I don't know how well you can see these. I ran a degree apprenticeship webinar on engineering. So young people who wanted to be engineers and wanted to find out about the degree apprenticeship. These 3 people came on the webinar as guests. They don't know each other. They didn't stay on and listen to anybody else. But they came along and they spoke about their experience of being on a degree apprenticeship. So Tom on the left-hand side is a nuclear engineering degree apprentice working for EDF. He's on £23,500 and he's at University of Bristol, and he goes full-time for the first year. That's his model, full-time at university for the first year, all his fees paid for, and while he's at university he gets a salary of £23,000 while he's at university. Alex on the right-hand side, Alex is from Willis, just the other side, if you know where Russian Lakes are, and the shopping centre, just the other side of Northampton. Alex is from Willis, he works for the government's anti-terrorism department, and he works as an electronics engineer degree apprentice, and I helped him get his job there. And his model is he goes to work for a month, goes to university for a week, work for a month, university for a week, all the way through. And Emily down the bottom there, she's a civil engineering degree apprentice, and her model is I go to university every single week. So there's all different models that are in there. I think there's a couple of other things I want to tell you about these people here. When they all came on the webinar, I asked them, what's the one piece of advice that you would give anybody in year 12 or 13 who's on this webinar? And I never know what it's going to be. They didn't hear anybody else talk about it. But every single one of them said, get on LinkedIn. Get on LinkedIn. Are you guys, how many of you guys are on LinkedIn at the moment? Just raise your hands if you're on LinkedIn. So that could be a real project that you could work on. Every single one of them said, get on LinkedIn. Tom got his degree apprenticeship through LinkedIn. He didn't send his CV in, he didn't do, he saw the job on LinkedIn and it said apply with your profile, and he just clicked in done. That was it all sorted. Alex used it as a personal branding base, so everything he'd done around engineering, everything he'd done around physics and maths, and he put on his LinkedIn profile, and then put the URL of his LinkedIn profile onto his CV when he applied. And Emily used it to get all of her work experience. Emily works in civil engineering as a degree apprentice. Her parents aren't in the construction industry, and I said to her, how does a 17-year-old girl find out, figure out that she wants to do civil engineering? And she said, I just went on LinkedIn, I knew I wanted to do engineering, so she said, I just reached out to people and said, can I come and talk to you, can I come and see you? So LinkedIn's a great place to be able to do that. So those are the different models of attendance that are there. I've just helped this guy get a degree apprentice, his name's Jamie, and I just wanted to just share this with you as well, because what I think you've got to do when you apply for a degree apprenticeship is you've got to bring more to the table than your A-levels. Because let's just imagine for the moment that this is the assessment centre day for Jaguar Land Rover's degree apprenticeship programme, and we've got 150 people in the room, and to get in the room you needed, I don't know, 3 Bs. Let's say you needed 3 Bs to get in. Everybody in this room has now got 3 Bs, nobody cares about your Bs anymore. Truly nobody cares. There might be 3 A's, you need 3 A's to get in the room. You're all amazing, you're all incredible, but nobody cares about your grades anymore, because everybody in this room has got 3 A's. Now it's like, I'm going to be investing £100,000 in you. I'm going to pay your university fee, I'm going to give you a salary while you're at university. You need to bring a bit more to the table than just tell me you're clever and you've got some good grades. And so what Jamie did, and I wasn't aware of this, I went into a school and did a talk on personal branding, and a year later he came back and this is his LinkedIn profile. But what he also has is he shares, he wants to be an engineer, well he's now going to be an engineer. And he shares all of the work that he does on his car on Instagram. And so all the way through the year, he's had all of his work that he's done on cars on Instagram. And people are using their TikTok accounts, people are using their Instagram accounts to share their interest and to bring more to the table. So it is important that it's not just like A-levels. It's like, great, we're going to invest £100,000 a year, pay your fees, pay your salary, what else are you bringing to the table? So let's just talk about some of these companies here for the moment. Just raise your hands to me if you've heard of the one on the top left hand corner, L'Oreal. Just raise your hands if you've heard of L'Oreal. Of course you've heard of L'Oreal. What about TUI underneath? Who's heard of TUI underneath? We want to go on holiday, we've heard of TUI. Okay, what about top right hand corner, Leonardo? Who's heard of Leonardo? Just raise your hands if you've heard of Leonardo. And that'll be one person down the front here has heard of Leonardo. And what about EY with the yellow triangle? Who's heard of EY? Same person. Okay, three or 4 people have heard of EY. Here's what happens, guys. You've all heard of L'Oreal, I don't know, Coca-Cola, Sky, BBC, things like that. So when degree apprenticeship opportunities come along, if you're looking for them, you navigate towards those that, I know that brand, I'm going to apply for them, it's going to sound great, it's going to sound cool, I'm going to do that. Leonardo, on the top right hand corner, work in the defence industry, one of the largest firms working in the defence industry in the whole world. They've got a really big base just below Milton Keynes, between Milton Keynes and Luton, and they take a ton of degree apprentices on. But people don't necessarily apply for them because they see Leonardo and they think, I don't know what that is, and they just sort of go past it. EY, top 6 firms of accountants and business consultancies in the world, offering degree apprenticeships where you travel all across the world as well. Massive opportunities. But we've not heard of them. Half a dozen people in here have heard of them. Why have we not heard of them? Well, because EY aren't selling you their services. TUI are. L'Oreal are. You're going to the supermarket and buying their stuff, but you're not buying defence systems, and you're not buying software development for major companies looking at their accounts. So if you see a degree apprenticeship and you think, I don't know what that company is, I just want you to click on it and have a look. It's going to be massive. It's going to be a massive company. It just means that your work is quite small at the moment, so you won't have come across it. So, I just want to ask about how much you know about applying to university at the moment. So I'm just going to ask, who are we going to ask back here? We're going to ask this gentleman just here. When you go to university, how many universities can you apply for? Do you know? You're going to apply for 5 universities, okay? And this lady over here, if you were looking This lady here, you applied for 5 universities. How many different applications do you put in? Do you know? Do you know how many different applications you put in? Do you have to send a different application to each university? Do you know that yet? Does anybody know how many you put in? Yeah, 1. Okay, we're going to apply to 5 universities and we're going to put 1 application. Guys, it's so easy. I mean, you'll make a right thing of it. Your teachers will be dragging your personal statement out of you come October, November. But, it's 1 document, 4,000 characters about yourself. And your school are going to really, really help you with it. And they're going to review it and check it and check it and check it. And it goes off to 5 universities. That's it. Easy. All you've got to do is look at it. Degree apprenticeships. This is where it all sort of goes wrong for people. This is the handicap for people that are applying for degree apprenticeships, because the process is just really, really tricky. Sometimes I go into a school and the teacher will start at the beginning by saying, now we all know degree apprenticeships are really, really competitive to get on, really, really difficult to get on. And I'm just like, I don't think they are. I really don't think they are. I think degree apprenticeships are difficult to get on because of this, not because they're competitive. In December, you might see the vacancy, same time as your university application, and you're going to think, I'm going to apply for that, and it's online. I want to apply to BMW, Red Bull, Jaguar, Bentley, Rolls Royce. I want to apply to all of those people. 5 universities, 5 degree apprenticeships, but I can apply for as many as I like. But here's the thing, my university application, 1 click, gone. It's done. But Red Bull has said, can you go on our website and have a look at the values that we have and tell us which one resonates with you. BMW has said, which of our projects that we're working on at the moment are you really excited about? Bentley have said, give us 500 words as to why you want to work here. So every single one is a different application, and that can be really challenging when you've got all the other stuff going on in your life as well. That's January, December, January. Then they might say in February, look, we're going to do a video interview. This is when I would say 80% of the people fail at this point, because they just don't prepare for it. They think, you know what, I'm in the 6th form, I'm quite bright, I'm going to get great A levels. This is a video interview, what can go wrong? A ton can go wrong, and a whole bunch of people fail at that point. They then might have a video or a telephone interview with you, and then you might get invited to an assessment day, and we're probably at May now, and you're getting stressed because your A-levels are coming up, probably just started, and you've got an assessment day to attend. I prepared somebody for an assessment day about 3 weeks ago, and I did a Zoom call with him on the Sunday evening to make sure, because his assessment day was on the Monday, I said, have you got anything done? And he was like, Dale, I haven't got anything done, because I've got an A-level exam on Tuesday. And he said, I've done as much as I can. So it's really tough. The application process is ridiculous. But if that's what it is to get that £100,000 investment in you, that's what it is. And you still might have an interview to go through. So that's the difficult bit. Don't let anybody tell you they're really, really competitive and it's only the very best people. The people that I know that get degree apprenticeships are the people that are tenacious, keep going, they're focused, they want it, they've got the spreadsheets, they're organising it through. I want to tell you about Kieran. Kieran's from Northamptonshire, so not too far away from here, and he's doing a degree apprenticeship at Jaguar and he's in his 3rd year. So he started on 19,000 straight from school, so I think their starting salary this year is 23. He works at home 2 days a week, he works at Jaguar 2 days a week, and 1 day a week is at University of Birmingham. That's his how it works. Now I did this presentation in his school in January in year 13. His UCAS application is done. He's got his offer back from Loughborough to do international business. He's got his reserve offer, his backup offer, and his Bournemouth to do general business. He's all sorted, just like you guys are all sorted. And then he messaged me after the presentation and he said, you came to my school today and spoke about it. Can I still apply for a degree apprenticeship? I've already applied to you. And it's like, absolutely, 100%. This isn't either or. This isn't, the great thing about having everybody here today is your school has said everybody needs this information. Now, there might be half a dozen people in here that think that's going to work, but you haven't been already funneled in on all the apprenticeship. So Kieran applied to Jaguar Land Rover, and he applied to BMW as well. He got an offer at Jaguar Land Rover, and he decided which one to take on results day. So on results day, he went into his school, he picked up his A-level results, he got his offer at Jaguar Land Rover, he got his offer at Loughborough, and now which one he was going to do. So you don't need to decide before then. You can apply for both, and you can just decide which one is going to be right, for you on results. So just let's recap some. When are you going to apply? You're going to be applying for degree apprenticeships back end of this year, early January, February in 2025. In terms of which university will I go to, well, the employer has already decided that for you. So on the job description, it will tell you where they send. It's like, oh, okay, that's the university I want to go to. I can apply for that one and go through there. Recapping on the fees, you don't have your fees are paid by the employer. What are you going to do about accommodation costs? I heard you gentlemen talking about accommodation costs before. How's that going to work? Well, you have to pay your own accommodation costs. But you're on £24,000. My youngest son's at university at the moment, in the University of Birmingham, and his accommodation costs living in Selly are about £6,500 a year. He gets a grant, I think it's £6,000 actually, and his grant, his maintenance loan is about £7,500. He has £1,500 to live on for the year, which is why he'll be working in Silverstone this summer, which is why he works at Starbucks, at City World, whenever he can, to get as much money as he possibly can. But if you're a degree apprentice, then you're not getting £1,500 to last you all year. You're getting £2,000 a month to last you all year. So you can afford to pay your accommodation costs because you've got £23,000 and you've got to pay £6,000 for your accommodation. So there's you've still got £17,000 left, and you're loaded compared to every other student. If this was a live webinar, there's a guy who comes on from PwC who talks over, there's two of them, Tom and Mary, one from PwC. They said we were always the richest students in the room because we lived in the same accommodation, did all the same stuff, but we were paid. What qualifications will I need to get on? That slide I put up earlier about the engineering degree apprentices, every single one of those people working nuclear engineering, working for the government, anti-terrorism, there isn't an A or a B grade amongst them. Every single person on that slide had straight C's. So sometimes we think degree apprentices, well, it's going to have to be straight A, it's going to be the very best students, academic. But just like you can apply to university and think, I'm going to get 3 A's, I'm going to get 3 A's for this, and therefore I'm going to apply to this university. Some people might be thinking, do you know what, if I work really, really hard, I might get 3 C's, and so I'm going to apply to this university instead. That's exactly the same for degree apprentices. It tells you on each one what they're looking for. I want to show you a quick video of a guy from Northampton who's doing a degree apprenticeship right now. So Tom, tell me about your degree apprenticeship. How does it work? What university you're at? And what course you're doing? Tell us all about that.
So I'm Tom, 19, and I work with Pupils International based in Birmingham. So they own Cadbury's and many other competitive brands. My degree apprenticeship is in supply chain management, and I'm studying for a child management degree with that.
When you're doing a degree apprenticeship, I think what people would like to know is how much of that time are you doing at university and how much is employed? What's the mix? How's that work?
So I work 4 days a week and study for 1, and then on that study day you do all of your normal university assignments, and then also have the odd lecture every week to keep your information flow coming from uni. But the work and university is kept very much apart. Your work is your work and uni is your uni. You don't mix the two that much, and really the sport's there if you need it.
So Tom, let's talk about the money, because I think that's going to be really important to everybody. Tell us about your student loan, you might get paid. Tell us about that.
University is paid for one every day, and I will get a student loan either, but then that's counteracted, I guess, with what I get from work, which is a salary like any other employee, and that really balances that out.
So you don't have a student loan, and you get a salary?
Yeah, that's correct.
So, Tom, does the degree apprenticeship work for you? What do you like about it if it does?
Yeah, I think it's pretty quite perfectly suited me. When I was applying, I was looking for something that I could get my teeth into where I could work and also learn. You get full work experience, something that not a lot of students would normally get unless you did your work placement year. So that's obviously very valuable. And then at the same time, you're learning and you're kind of developing your education. The reason why I like it is I kind of skip the steps of in not having any experience. I'm doing both at the same time, and then in turn, you know, that puts you ahead of everyone else, because when you're applying for jobs, it is a competition, and you want to be the best you can.
Tom, what did you think back to when you were in year 12 or year 13? You didn't know anything about degree apprenticeships, and you started to think about what's the route ahead for you. If you were there again now, what advice would you be giving yourself about moving forward?
The main advice I would give is to build up your confidence, go and speak to people, you know, apply for every opportunity, and like various jobs, degree apprenticeships, and normal apprenticeship, and then get that interview experience. Because for me, I never had a career interview before that, and I was amazing, but you have to go with the flow, like think on your feet. I knew that before, I think a lot more prepared, and I think experience just helps you.
So I wonder how many people in this room had heard of Mondelez before the logo came on? Who'd heard of Mondelez? So half a dozen, maybe 10 people in the room have heard of Mondelez. How many people in the room have gone through year 12 thinking, what I hope to be when I leave school is a supply chain manager? It's not likely, is it? It's not likely at all. So I said to Tom when he got the job, and I helped him to get that job, I said, how did that happen? How do you end up working for a company you've never heard of doing a job you didn't know existed? How does that happen? And he said, I knew I wanted to go to university, and I knew I wanted to do business, but I knew I wanted to work. So he said, I went on the government apprenticeship website, I siphoned out all of the companies that were paying for you to do business. If they're investing in me to go and do business at university, it must be the relevant degree. So he said, I applied and started dropping out the ones I didn't want to. But if somebody's paying for you to go to do a degree in business, there's a fair chance that that's because it's really, really, really relevant to the job role. How many of you have heard of Unilever? Who's heard of Unilever? So 3, 4, 5 people have heard of Unilever. Massive, massive. But who's heard of Magnum ice creams? We've all heard of Magnum ice creams. So I've just had to go and get a job at Unilever as a degree apprentice, who own so many of the brands that you've got in your house. So many of them. And she's got a degree apprenticeship at Unilever, a company she'd never heard of. And she's going to be working as a packaging degree apprentice. I can assure you there was not a moment in her life that she's gone through thinking, I want to work in packaging. But her dad saw the job and said, I think I can see what they were looking for. And he said, I think we should check it out, because I think there's some great opportunities there. And so now she's going to be going to university, and she's going to be working at Unilever, and she's involved in the whole packaging, and she's working on design, and she's also working on the development of new technology and new packaging materials, and she's so excited about it. She's going to be starting in September. She's on £25,000 straight from sixth form with her A-levels in a job that she didn't know existed in a company she never heard of. So great opportunities out there. What I want to say to you is I went into one school, and I was in there one week talking about degree apprenticeships, and I went in the following week to talk about personal branding. And the girl came and spoke to me at the front afterwards. And I said, what can I help you with? And she may as well have said to me, you set me up. You came into my school last week and spoke about degree apprenticeships, and I went away all excited about it. And she may as well have said, you set me up. And I was like, what's the problem? She said, you told me there were some degree apprenticeships in law, and I want to work in law, and I want to be a solicitor. And I've gone away, and there's 3 vacancies, and I've looked at them, there are 3 vacancies, and how am I going to get one of those? So I thought I needed to check this out for her, so I did exactly that. And this slide isn't so that you can read it at all, obviously, but it's just to see the number. The top 3 lines on there, Farrell & Co, Mishcon DeRay, and Denton's, big firms of solicitors, were advertising on the government apprenticeship website. She was dead right, and that was it. So what I then did was I just Googled top 20 law firms. I don't know who they are, I don't work in law. So I just Googled top 20 law firms, and then I went and put them in a spreadsheet and went on their website. I found all of these vacancies. All of these vacancies were on there at that point. So if you do decide that you want to do a degree apprenticeship, if you're just looking on Indeed and just looking on the government apprenticeship website, you'll just see about 30% of the opportunities. Because a whole ton of companies are putting their vacancies on that early career section on their website. So they're just saying, I heard you talking about Dyson earlier, and Dyson apprenticeships. For the first 2 years that Dyson ran apprenticeships, they didn't advertise them at all. Couldn't find them anywhere. The only way that you knew that Dyson were running a degree apprenticeship was if you went on their website, and I guess Dyson were thinking, you want to come and work for us, you turn up, come and find us. So on our Instagram page now, you can go on to the link in the bio, you can download a whole bunch of stuff. The top degree apprenticeship employees in engineering, construction, financing, investment banking, all a whole bunch of those on there. But do go on their websites. So you'll be going to some university open days. Has that happened yet? Does that happen? Yeah, you started going to some university open days. There's a young guy called Tom who worked at PwC. He did a degree apprenticeship in software engineering, and he normally comes on our webinars, but I want to just finish up by sharing his story a little bit, because he went on his university open day to the University of Birmingham, just as you guys will be going. He went with his parents, went to have a look around, and he's going to get 3 A's for his A-levels, and he's going to do software development at the University of Birmingham. I want you to imagine just for the moment, this is the software development introduction talk, and we're all going to leave at the end of it, which way to go out, maybe straight at the back, we're going to go out onto the grass and everyone's going to chat. And just as you go outside, there's a gazebo outside, and it says on the top, "We will pay for your degree." It's been there all the time. Now Tom is sat right at the front here, and he follows you all out, but because there's a bunch of people near the gazebo, he doesn't see it. Doesn't see it at all. So, none the wiser, doesn't know anything about it. He's applied, he's got his place at Birmingham, he's going to get his 3 A's, turns up on the first day, he's got his student loan sorted, he's part-time job, he's going to do all this stuff. But the person next to him, doing the same course, living in the same flat, with the same friends, the same kind of lanyard, the same everything, absolute same society as he's joined, saw the gazebo, and went across, and this is what Tom did, went across and said, "What's this?" And they said, "Oh, we're PwC. We sponsor places on the software development course, so if you want us to pay for your degree and you want us to pay your salary while you're doing it, you could apply to work for us." And that's exactly what he did. And if he hadn't seen that gazebo, if people had been stood in front of him, the same friends, the same accommodation, the same everything, but he would have had a student loan to repay, and he wouldn't have had a salary all the way through. So don't be the person who arrives at university, sits next to somebody who says, "Oh yeah, I'm having all of this paid for." So the one thing that you can do to make that happen is when you go on your university open day, just ask the university, "Are there any degree, I want to do this course, this mechanical engineering course, I want to do it. Are there any degree apprenticeship employers that send their people here because I want to apply to them, because then I can come here and do it." So just ask that question when you're there. A whole bunch of universities run online webinars talking about their degree apprenticeships. This was Manchester Next last year. They look after Boohoo, Amazon, Nestle, Barclays, HSBC. So there's a whole bunch of information out there. And if you go on our Instagram page and click in the link tree, there's a list of all the websites I use on my mentoring program I run to get people onto degree apprenticeships. It's all there, free, completely for you to access. So, thank you for taking the time to listen. I hope now you can leave thinking, I'm not going to do a degree apprenticeship, but at least I know what it is. Like, I'm involved in that decision making. And if there is anybody that's got any questions or wants to ask, can you tell me, is there a degree apprenticeship in this? Where do I get that? If you were me, what would you be doing? If you were mentoring, what would you be doing? Then when you leave, just come and ask me at the front while I'm packing up here. Just come and get on, you will say. Just don't leave with questions in your head just because your mate isn't going to do a degree apprenticeship. So if you want any information about it, then just come and ask me. And if you think I can't do that because I've got to go off with everybody else, then at some point take the phone up, follow my great first job on Instagram, send me a message, and at the weekend we pick up DMs and we'll answer everybody with anything at all. We share a ton of information about degree apprenticeships and personal branding on there, so you can follow and do that. Thank you very much for your time.
She had achieved a star A. She had an offer from Durham to study law, and she turned it down to get a law degree through actual work practice. She was working on international law cases within about 3 weeks of starting in her job, and she's not looked back since. That's right for some people, not for all, but today is all about exploration. So thank you very much for paying attention, and you're now off to your groups, if you would please. Make sure you leave